Okay.
There, this is Lisa with Heartbeat of Hope today, and I am so excited this morning or today. I have Matthew Resendez on today, and oh my gosh, just we're so excited because we're getting to see each other face to face. I think we're saying 2.5, 3 years ago, I was at the Michael unit, a prison here in Texas, and Matthew was one of the fellows in there that I met that day. I spoke that day. They called me Mama Bear. And me and him kept in contact. You know, we weren't writing each other all the time, but we kept in contact, and I've just stayed with him through his journey. And he's out. Look, he's under the sky. He's
Yep.
out. He's free. He's doing amazing things, and this mama bear is super proud of him, and I just want to tell him that, I'm super proud of him, and as far as he's come, he's had one hell of a journey, and so I just want to turn it over to him and just let him tell his story, and thank you for coming on today.
Oh man, it's an honor and a privilege. So it started, oh man, so long ago. When I was 19 years old, I got incarcerated for reckless serious bodily injury by omission. I caused the death of my infant son when I was 19 years old, and it's a tragedy. And then I had to do 2 years in county jail. In there, I was facing a capital murder charge. So that's in Texas, it's typically life without parole or the death penalty. As time went on,
Yeah.
um, God really just um, the mercy and grace of God was just incredible because when you're facing that, it's just it is what it is. But then there was independent investigation done and all these things, and so ultimately I was convicted of reckless serious bodily injury by omission, and I was given a 20-year sentence. And then at the age of 21, I was shipped to TDCJ, and I went through that whole process. The first 2 years of my time inside of TDCJ was it was just I want to say it was incredible in that um, feeling like I was going to be killed or violently, me to end violently because, my father's a police officer, the nature of the crime, just all these things. So it was a bunch of shame and guilt and tragedy attached to my, all right, tragedy attached to the whole situation. But then I really leaned in and I figured because I had sworn to the Air Force, my ship date was November 28th of 2010. I committed my crime November 4th. So I was
Oh,
already
wow.
going. Yeah, I was already going to be in the Air Force. All I needed to go was into boot camp. I knew where I was, going the next 3 years, 4 years. I had signed up for a 6-year contract. And then I destroyed my life with my own two hands, and I had to live in the consequence of that.
Were
What's
you
that?
on drugs at the time? Is that what happened?
Yeah, so I had been sober or I had been clean. I wouldn't say sober. I had been clean from Xanax and I'm an IV heroin user and I took a lot of Xanax all the time. And so for a year, I had been struggling to just get out of like that's why the my wife at the time and I were very, very heavy drug addicts, and there was a moment of clarity that happened where it was like, hey, we're gonna die, and I need to step up and I need to get into like follow the footsteps because my father's a Air Force Reserves, and I wanted to be active duty, and I figured like this is the only way to get away and stop all this to get us out of all this. I need to do this, but I had got myself in an adult situation that I was not emotionally prepared for, and it was just awful. And yeah, so I as time went on, that's the beauty of incarceration. If a person really just honest self-examination, total and honest self-examination, and owning your
Honest.
part. Yeah. Yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like, what was my part? And then what wasn't my part? But there doesn't have to be a villain in every story. And that's a moment,
Yeah.
that's some clarity that God gave me is like, it's not her, it's not me, it's the situation. All of the awfulness that comes from, and I know people that may uh, hear and watch know about the dynamic of being drug addicted and being in a relationship, and how all the baggage that we carry from our life of manipulating others and betrayal and all that stuff and all that toxicity that's wrapped up in all that. I had to sit in that for years and years and years, and without changing how I felt. And that was the blessing right there, because although I was doing drugs in there, um, it was one of the things where there's really no escape. Like that, yeah, that was a kind of escape where you just get completely to the point where I almost died, and that's usually how extreme the use is in there. Like that was the common need, was to get as high as possible, almost to the point of death, because the pain was so immense.
Oh, yeah, just to cope
Yeah,
with everything, grief of everything. Your life is taken, and now you're in this, prison where you're scared, and there's
yeah.
all this stuff going on just to cope. Well, talk about the situation where you almost died.
Okay, so yeah, October 19th of 2019, I was at the Win Unit at the Huntsville, and I had been a special projects welder for about 2.5 years. Um, and one of the mentors that taught me a lot, he kind of saw that I was spiraling. And so 2 weeks prior to that, to October 19th, he had pulled me to the side in the shop one day and said, "Hey man, do you enjoy doing this? Like, do you enjoy what you have going on?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, this is something that this helps me so much, because I didn't know that I had this ability to do this with my hands, and it gives me so much power." He said, "Hey man, stop right there. You don't give a damn about this." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Dude, you're getting high all the time. You're high at work. If you don't stop, you are going to lose everything that you like, everything. And you have
Man,
yeah, yeah." And so it was like not heating it, right? And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm good." And not 2 weeks after that, I overdosed, and officer has to revive me, and he was just so spot on, and like it was ridiculous. But so that night, uh, the officer was doing a security check and found me. I was blue. I was on the top bunk. He pulled me off the bunk. I hit the ground like just face plant, and they had to get 6 people to come and drag me out. And they worked on me. I had a purple bruise where they I think they fractured one of my ribs. And they were heroically trying to
so
save
all
my
the
life.
officers revived you, all the
Yeah,
COs.
because they had to do it in a relay, and that's how the severity of my what was going on. They had to have a relay of people, and that once I knew of just the severity of that, it really, the gravity of that just hit me really hard. And so then I
So
went and
what?
I got stable. What's that?
Oh, oh, yeah, go ahead. I was just going to ask you what happened after that. Did you go to the hospital? What did they
Hmm.
do?
Yeah, so I went to Huntsville Hospital. They stabilized me, and then I went back and I went into the prison. So there's a prison inside a prison,
Hmm.
right? And so I went to the prison of prisons. And at the Win Unit, G5 is kind of styled like SEG. It's single man cell. It's basically SEG, except you
Hmm.
don't have that classification. And so check this out. So go back there. All right. Uh, my parole date comes up. I get a 3-year set off. I turn 30. My grandparents died, and COVID happens.
Oh gosh. Now, what does a 3 year set off mean? What does that
That
mean?
means that once I was eligible for parole, my file was reviewed, and then the board denied it until
Hmm.
3 years down the road.
Got you.
to come up again, not to be to be eligible to for a decision of yes and no. Yeah,
Review.
yeah. So I okay, then back there, I was only supposed to do 6 months. I ended up doing 18 because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a moment of clarity in there. God touched my life, and this is what happened. While back there, I looked back on my life. So I committed my crime at 19. I overdosed and almost died at 29. And so I'm like, is every 10 years of my life going to be punctuated with these things that happen? And I don't think that there's another, I don't think it's going to be good this next time. I don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that to be the story. And so in thinking that, God just told me like, you have to be trustworthy and dependable no matter if there's an audience or not. Like, and the only audience that matters is your heart and God.
Yeah.
And then I had this drive, like I had read this book called The Book for Radicals, and it was about like community organizing. And I just looked around and I said, man, I know that I can, like, this place can change. Like the place does not dictate the purpose of the person, and the people make the place. And that was something that was like, man, that's wherever I am, if I am trustworthy and dependable, that causes an influence. And so I really leaned in on that, and I made decisions in my mind like every single day. Uh, I'm just going to accept that I can't do anything about being in prison and the time that was lost and the family that I could have had and the life that I could have had and all that. I can't do anything about that, but I can do something with what I have now. And if I just develop my character to the point where it will be able to steward and receive whatever is good in life, then I'll be able to keep it
Yeah.
at whatever date it comes.
Well, so let's talk a little bit about your progression. So when you came out of the hospital, were you clean then? Did you just stay off of drugs?
Yeah, so when I went, that I got put into a pre-detention hearing, and I had stopped drugs at that time completely.
Hmm.
Um, and
And they don't do
then
anything as far as help you with withdrawals or anything like that, or
now they just put you in a box and sweat it out, buddy.
yourself, you work it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then I have this moment of clarity. Um, some of the industry bosses, because I worked at for the industry, welding industry, in
Hmm.
TDCJ.
Yeah.
This is what really broke me, like all the way down. So they have these OJT certificates that are industry standard recognized, and I was in that program, and when they came, the supervisors came and said, "Hey, man, this is your last certificate. Um, you will never work for an industry in prison. The things that you worked on or are on the road, heavy equipment, the people's lives are at stake, and we just want to let you know that you were one of our best workers, and we're very disappointed in you. But here's your certificate. You earned that." And it was just like, wow, you know, man. And I was mature enough in my mind, and I think God gave me that situation because losing everything again, like,
Hmm.
then I got to see like, oh wow, okay, there's an after to this,
Yeah.
and I'll be okay if I just press in on. I'm not going to align myself with the negative norms of prison. I'm going to be a person of values in a place where the expectation is that I don't have any, and any opportunity I have to speak the truth of, you don't have to align yourself with this place in order to be, and there's a better way. And it was also the like the undercurrent was, I can't get my son's life back, but I'm around people's sons and fathers and uncles and family members. Like, if I could just inspire some type of give a damn, for lack of a better word, um, that it would spark some type of positive um, effect outside of the prison and the families that write and we write them and all that type of stuff. And so it gave me a bearing of just like sureness and boldness and being able to just have influence when I walk into a place. And this is what God set up the thing. Because once I got out of a G5, uh, I was I was given the opportunity, right place, right time. They were starting a life coach program, and I was one of the youngest, and it was a platform. It was the exact thing that what the realization that I had back there, and bringing a voice to what we really should be doing with our time as far as character development. It was readily made, because what that entailed was me teaching a class and then teaching people how to teach the class when they would ship people from different units. So I would show people how to be a life coach, and then I would also teach the curriculum to them. And we had a hand in developing it. It's from Texas Christian University, Unlocking the Mind. It's a cognitive behavioral thing,
Okay.
and it was modified by, and I wish I knew her name, and maybe that'll be a project of mine, because I like the heritage of things, of like how things came about,
Yeah.
and it's very unique in the last like almost 5 to 6 years, this pure movement that TDCJ got in alignment with, and I've been blessed to be like the spearhead in those things. And so there's a lot of content, a lot of history, a lot of heritage to this stuff. But anyway, she had
So God
that.
was kind of teaching you about, he was sorry, he was kind of teaching you about your identity on your own, about who you are and not aligning with who the prison says you are, but he's giving you your identity. And then you go into this
Yes.
life coach program, and that's what that is, right? That don't
Yeah.
they teach character, identity, who you are, your
Yeah.
value, all that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so the thing that I'm proud of is that when we were having a sit down, because the curriculum was derived for college kids, and we modified it to be palatable to prisoners. And the one thing that wasn't there was civics. How to be a civilized citizen in society. What does that mean?
What does
Knowing,
that mean?
knowing, yeah, knowing what issues of the place are concern us, and then actively being involved and contributing to whatever needs to be done with the people about you. And so that was the thing. And so now we have a rallying point for the guys that are going to be bought into the program. Like, hey, look, we have an opportunity to set the pace of something new, of agreeing how to live together in a way that is um, wholesome, not wholesome, but like edifying, um, and aligning ourselves with a role. Okay. And the roles were trustworthy friend, love member of the household, and a productive member of society, an engaged member of society. And like, to think about those things, because we don't. We just think that we're wrong. We think that we're this. We think, and there's so much to press in on the fact, like the only way that I'm going to get out and stay out and integrate is realize that I am in these roles. I am a head of a household, or I am a part of a household that is part of a community that's part of all these things. And if I don't align my mind and my heart to the duties of those things, of course I'm gonna fall back, and because I'm gonna be chasing the wrong thing.
Hmm.
And so now it gives us a point of alignment. So I did that for about 90 days. We did great. We made a lot of inroads in being an inmate that was able to be in a position of trust and get connected with administrators for creating programs for quality of life things. And then another executive director had came that was over substance abuse, and she knew my story. And legislation had just passed where they could credential inmates to be peer recovery support specialists. And she said, "Hey, we're going to start this thing, and I want you to be a part of it." And I said, okay, they sign me up. And so then that's when I went to the Hamilton unit. I met another guy, inspired, like divinely inspired connection there. Um, and that's where the inner work, that's where the start of Recovery Housing Opportunity Program, RHOP, came about. So they had a there's peer recovery support specialists like job descriptions for outside,
Hmm.
but for inside, there's the book is unwritten. So we were able to develop a SOP for what that looks like, and we
Is
did
that what
that.
you're doing now? Is that what your position is now?
No, this is when you met me at the Michael unit,
Hmm.
uh, that program that I co-founded, that was a recovery center. That was the place and space in which uh, inmate certified recovery specialists operate in. And then when outside organizations come in, that that crossover of our participants, like our standout participants, being plugged into these places, like that conduit thing, that's what I am. A coordinator, an integrator of resources and administrating the systems and making sure that there's accountability in the day-to-day operations. What does that look like? The files of the participants, like what do we measure, what do we track, what's significant, what's not. And then also an outreach component where I have a narrative that I'm pushing on the unit at large, like um, taking hold of, hey, this is a spot where you have a true opportunity to develop yourself, grow, inspire. Um, Even though there's two important people, there's ones that are going to be there forever, and there's ones that are almost going to get out. And the ones that are going to be there forever, we give them a purpose. So I developed a pathway for them to be staff of the recovery housing. So they're going to run the groups. They're going to maintain the boundary of the place. Because they have a vested interest in the culture of the living area. And so if we utilize the administration to mass move all basically a reset, and then move people in that were already rallied up and said, hey, like this is the expectation. This is what we're in for. This is how we got to get this. This is something that um, is going to grow, develop, and nurture you, but you're going to have to maintain it. We we
Yeah.
we got with the administration took all the problems out. And yes, we're in prison and it's all around us, but at this spot right here, right now, we have a foundation that is completely wiped, and you have a hand in building it. So we put a seal on the floor. We had core values. So I did a lot of community organizing in the sense that we're going to rally behind the mission. It's to improve character, elevate the mind, identify and correct self-defeating behaviors, instill the value of honest self-examination, and then cultivate a servant leadership mentality and a road to restoration for all who enter. And so
So
that was the linchpin of yeah, we had different curriculums in there. There's different certificates, but the overarching message was that mission.
a guy would, admit that he needed help in there with drugs or whatever it was. And then did he have to be clean for a little while before he got put into this program?
So what we did is we had a unit wide rally with flyers and I-60s. They could come in and then they would make their request. There was an application packet. They would fill that out. We had guys that would actively go throughout the unit, the problem areas, and get names, and then we would vet them through unit classification, and
Okay.
classification would give the ultimate yay or nay. But we did not. It's not a place to get sober. It's a place to stay sober.
Stay sober. And so
Yeah,
they got to live somewhere. Didn't they get to live off unit, like sort of off unit?
they get to live in a living area that is heads and shoulders above anywhere else. The benches and tables were removed. We had big screen TV. So before the incentive thing was really, really big, like the incentive living where they had all the little accoutrements and stuff,
Yeah.
that was we had that we had like folding chair. Everyone had a chair to sit on with their name on it. There was extra tables. We had TVs. We had movie with a message, so we would have movies come in, and and the price of watching it was after you're gonna write an essay on how this is relevant in the light of what we talked about in this past week, and so that's your rent. And so we had we had all this thing, this mechanism in place. And so uh, because CCJ has places for people that to dry them out, but they don't have the after part. And we
Okay.
were the after part. We
So
were the
you got,
after part.
yeah, I
We
didn't
were
know they
we were
had
that. Yeah.
drugs out because it seems like where my son is, there's just all these people on drugs, and they're just falling out everywhere, and they don't take them off anywhere. So why does why does one unit have this kind of program and it's not at every unit?
Okay, so it's in 19 different units.
Oh, okay.
Recovery housing opportunity program. They need so it's a so like there's a necessity of having somebody who is uh, a charismatic and enthusiastic, passionate speaker
Yeah.
to spearhead a project, and that's just what it was. Me and Flynn, the lead founder,
Hmm.
we had the ability to cast vision and to execute. And then whenever there was complication that arise, we were able to communicate with officers and build something.
Right.
Um, but now we have momentum of executive leadership blessing the whole packet. So we have this administrative guide. We wrote all this stuff on how a plug and play, how to create recovery housing, whatever unit. But it's a personnel problem, and that's what we're working on on this side to have people go in and infuse enthusiasm and follow through in the places where they're kind of weak.
Yeah.
But not every unit is equipped for it, and not every unit, just to be frank with you, it deserves it.
Yeah.
Um,
So if you're an inmate and you are at a facility that does not have this RHOP program, can you put in a transfer to go to?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. In fact, there was a rally at the Michael unit, and they did just that. They said, "Who? This is a grace period," and the CEO, so all the executive leadership was there, and they basically had 300 over 300 inmates, and they said, "Hey man, this is your free. Who has done drugs today? This is a free pass. You're not getting in trouble. Raise your hand." And so a bunch of people, they said, "Okay, who wants help right now?" Okay, they had the transportation director. They right then and there, they got the ID. They took a picture. They said, "Pack your shit. You're going."
That's awesome. Good.
So there
Yeah.
was real and true action that was happening, and that's just the climate right now, because people are dying, and it's no longer so there's an acceptable amount of death that the risk people at the Jedi's behind the freaking the curtain with TDCJ, and it's at a threshold right now. They're done. They can't. There's no longer saying that, okay, it's the heat or it's the this or it's the that. They have to take ownership of their
Good.
true and actual problem, and
Yeah.
so they're doing that.
This is good to know for me personally because I didn't know, because my son has had run-ins. He's clean. He's not on drugs, but he's had cellmates that are falling out from K2 or doing,
Yeah.
these things. And so this is good to know that they can,
Yeah.
if they need help, I can tell them they can go to this place and,
Yeah.
want help. So that's good. So now, because I think you got to do some work. But so let's fast forward because we're gonna break this up because I feel like Matthew has a huge story. He's got so much, and I
Yeah.
think he's good at work. But I do want to follow these guys because he's got a group of guys he's working with on the outside, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
do a little plug for where you are now and what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm at Driven Reentry, so you can find us at drivenreentry.org. I'm with um, the the manager, and also one of my star friend, just best friend, and we do a lot of work together. And his name is Angelo Gugino, and he's on all socials. And thank it's in. I appreciate you, Mama Bear. And I'm Matthew Resendez. You can find me on Facebook, and we are coming into our own. I want to give a shout out to Urban Specialists out of Dallas. They're an amazing organization, and we are really truly um, fighting for just awareness. That's it. Awareness. That's it. There's nobody's wrong. Nobody, we're not bashing anybody. We just there's this thing that people just haven't seen. We don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And so that's the biggest hope. That's the takeaway, is that we just want to shine a light on the things that we've seen and the actionable ways to fix the problem that wasn't anybody's fault other than the situation. So
Right.
so that's what we want to do. But I thank you, and we'll go with that.
Well, just real quick, tell me, how do you get into driven reentry and what is it?
Okay.
Do they live there? Do
Okay.
they,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's drivenreentry.org. It has a become a resident button on there. You fill it out. I will get a ping. And if you're incarcerated, you just reach out through a loved one. And if you don't have a loved one, you can contact use the chaplaincy. We are officially in the law library's list of addresses.
Okay.
But it's a 12 month to 18-month program. There's 3 phases. The first phase of 90 days, the first 2 weeks, you're gonna decompress. You're not gonna work. You're gonna learn how to upkeep a 2-story home. It's gonna be your home. It's not it's a beautiful home in an area of Plano, and kind of get your balance back to being in a home. All of the laundry, cleaning, all the stuff, right? The very basic stuff, and then we're gonna plug you in into a job. We're gonna help you, get the license, you need insurance, all of the life things. We're gonna get you on the right footing. We're gonna pace you where we're not going to. We're gonna tell you to slow down, but don't stop. Or we're gonna kind of speed you up. We're gonna be on your neck. It's in your business zone in the healthiest and most loving way, and it's about community. And it's not just, it's not a program, it's a home, and it's a fellowship, and it's a lifelong thing if you're up for that.
It's community. Yeah, you got a community
It's
of people trying to help you. So is that for males and females?
Yes, we have a women's home and a man's home. The men's home is 10. We can take 10. We have 4 right now. The women can take 6, and we have 2. So it's the same site, just toggle male or female. It's really easy to get into. But drivenreentry.org, and then in our later episodes, hopefully I'll have another plug for you.
There's so much. He's got to go to do some work, but there's so much. This man has been healed of things, and he's got so much testimony. So we're going to do another part, but we'll let him go today. And I will put in the link to Driven Reentry on the description here, and then like I said, you can find him on Facebook. But thank you, Matthew.
Thank
Just so proud
you.
of you, what you're doing, and if I can help in any way, you just let me know. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. You have a good day, Mama Bear.
You too. Have a great day.
Okay, bye.